Thank you, everyone. It's been great to be part of this group, this team. At least I've met some of you here. I can see some of my clients. Julius, I see you. Shelmy, Chege, I see you guys. Mazangani, I see you again. So it's great to meet like-minded people here to have a discussion on this topic. Now, today we have two levels, so we'll talk about a bit on job evaluation. Then we'll need to look at the system, that is the GRADAR job evaluation engine. So it's going to be an exciting 40 minutes. I know this is a topic that I can talk about for the whole day. So just Nelson was trying to tell me to squeeze, we see how best we can do this. So if we don't cover much today, I think Nelson will still have an opportunity to do part two of this.
Yes, we are always ready.
Yes. Yeah. So allow me to share my screen. I have a short presentation, then we can get into. Okay, there we go. Now, I'll be talking on GRADAR job evaluation engine. So how did GRADAR come about? I know most of us have done job evaluation in your organization, the manual systems, either Patterson, Hay, Peromnes, name it all, where you've had to bring in maybe a consultant to support you on this and guide you and demystify a lot of what happens within job evaluation. So GRADAR job evaluation engine was developed to help you as a professional to just do a job evaluation on your own. Like the way it's developed, the way it's set up is to help you as a professional. Once you understand what goes on in the system, you can do both job grading, competency alignment, and salary structuring within the system on your own. How amazing is that? Because I know we work with Excels, trying to bring in charts, trying to bring in those graphs, trying to justify salary reviews, salary increments, etc. So GRADAR job evaluation engine is focused on reward management, using the basis of job evaluation as the feeder to the rest of the HR aspects. But most of the people here, you have either done job evaluation or you are planning to, or you've heard about it, you've never had a chance. Now, this is a good space to be in. So what I think he talked about my profile, I'm going to just skip that. So moving into job evaluation, I'll just have a quick view in regards to job evaluation, just the introduction and why you need it as a professional. So job evaluation, you're trying to look at the jobs within the organization. So you get into the organization, you have this structure, you are given all these jobs and JDs and all these salaries, and as HR people, there are always people knocking in your door telling you, I've not been promoted for years. Others, I'm not sure how my salary was set. I've not been increased any salary. My performance reviews happen, but nothing happens. So where do you start? Job evaluation is a very good basis for you. Once you get the organization structure, which ideally is linked to the strategy, then the next step is to look at the jobs that are in there within the different functions and being in a position to know how do they relate to each other. And job evaluation gives you that. So you find yourself in this space where you find you as a HR professional, you have been given jobs and they are all like this. So the first thing you do, once you do the evaluation, just to demystify it, it's not that complicated. Once you've been given these jobs, some are faint, some are bold jobs. The next step is to grade these jobs and ensure that at least you have something that you can grade and you can defend. This is because in most organizations, people are not able to defend their job grading. And they're not able to defend why different people are paid differently. And also they are not able to defend why some aspects of the job are not aligned with either your salary structure, with your growth plan, your development. So when you do the job evaluation, you're trying to look at the factual requirements of the job, and you're trying to analyze those, evaluate them, and measure them using a system or a process to get the different levels of the jobs. So you have all these jobs here. You conduct a job evaluation and grading, and then what you get on the other end is different grades. So all these jobs, based on their functions, they will fall in different grades, and those are the grades that you will use to ensure that at least you know how different jobs and how different levels of the organizations are. And why is this a good starting point? It's a good starting point for you because job evaluation gives you basis for the different facets within HR. One of them, which is a quick win for you, would be the compensation structuring, where now you create the different job bands, and those job bands, you're able to create a salary structure there. You're able to create a salary grade benefits. You're able to assign benefits to the different levels within the organization and have the different salary components related to the weight and the size of the jobs within the organization. The other thing which is very exciting around job evaluation is once you complete the process of job evaluation, then you find all these jobs within your organization. There are gaps within them. You may find one job is rated like 3-4 levels than before the job, that like a manager and the people reporting to them, there are about 4 or 5 grades in there. So in that case, you already know there is someone struggling between the two. Either the manager who is at the top level is trying to do much to help the person at the junior level, or the junior level is doing some roles of the manager. And between the two roles of both of them, one of them is burning out. So how do you balance that? Knowing within your structure and the different functions that different jobs weigh differently, and a department is stretched or not, it will help you in the job architecture, and this will guide you in developing a better functional and organizational structure. And this is from feedback coming from job evaluation. There are some systems like here where you have a quality management aspect that you're able to know which jobs are stressed or not, but it's an easy thing to do. Once you get the grading, you are able to see how many steps from one job to the other. And then it gives you a challenge on how do you develop an individual from the level they are to the next, and how far are they regarding to the steps. Then in terms of organization development and talent management, once you have the grades, now you bring in the people. Bringing in the people, you know you are hiring at what level. That means you recruiting at a junior level, mid-senior level, a senior level, based on the expectation of the job. When you're onboarding, you're also giving the right expectations of the different levels of the job, the level of accountability, the performance management expected in terms of the results, the competencies and the skills expected at that level, because we all have these competency matrices within the organization, but we don't know how to apply them and develop them because we are not sure at what level is this competency expected to be in use, in full swing, or in development, or as an expert. Then within the network organization, I like this part where I found myself in situations where, as I'm running job evaluation sessions, an individual tells me, based on my organization, I'm the senior most expert within this maybe job family or this profession. So when they are sent out to represent the organization within a pool of experts, they find themselves in a situation where they cannot even speak in the table that they are seated, because they are representing the organization, but the depth of knowledge and exposure with the team that they are meeting is on a whole new level. So they tend to find themselves in awkward situations. And having evaluated these jobs and benchmarked elsewhere, you would know within your organization, how does your finance manager match against the market? How does your senior most expert within your core role within your organization match across the peers, and which network organizations can they work with. Then in regards to competency management is how you develop an individual from the lower level of the scale to the higher level of the scale. And this helps you in ongoing development, feedback, and getting yourself in situations where when you're doing the performance management, you're looking at the critical aspects of the job, the competencies, the expectations of the job, their application, and trying to measure if the individual is able to match the expectation of the job at the level in which the job is. So this is how you link job evaluation to the different aspects, and there are many others that can come in. But the heaviest one, for me, not only there is compensation structuring, because that is a one-off thing and it moves on, but the talent development aspect of it and the performance management aspect of it helps you as an individual, even within your organization, to even shine, because you know your thing, like you know how to develop people, you know where people are, you know how different jobs rate and how you bring in people to be able to match the different levels within the job, within the right pay, within the right performance level, and within the right development path. So job evaluation links to the different aspects this way. So in regards to the GRADAR job evaluation system, it works in two ways. The first aspect is organization analysis. So within the system, you are able to actually create the different teams, the different organization structures, the different reporting lines, the different dependencies within the system, and I'll show you. And once you've created this, you can even put in the documentation, like the job description within the system. You play along with this system online, fully. Whether you're in one location or 10 locations, the same system can serve you in the best way you can. It can even serve you in the different branches that you are, because you will be able to develop the different capabilities. Even if you have branches, you may have HR representative in different offices. They may have responsibilities for those offices, even within the system, to update the JD, to update the change in the organization structure, to update the competencies expected within the system. Then, once you've created now the jobs within the system, you move on to evaluate. And in evaluating this, GRADAR gives you the aspect of looking at the different career lines. Most times we look at job evaluation from one career line, which is the management. So jobs with a lot of hierarchical representation, bigger span of control, bigger budgets, etc., get to score a little bit higher than the rest. But now GRADAR has demystified that. So in this system, you're able to look at three career paths. The first one being the individual contributors. Individual contributors are mainly positions of experts and specialists. They are positions that may grow even at the highest level of the discipline, but they may not be expected to have management role or departmental responsibilities. And those jobs, examples are like the chief surgeons in some organizations or some hospitals. They may be the highest level experts within that organization. Space scientists, you may find them there. Highest research scientists, scholars, professors, etc., who may not have the managerial responsibilities, can be evaluated within the individual contributor career line. Then there are other jobs that are just project management based, mostly in the NGO sector, or in some of our organizations right now, we have positions that just come in to fulfill a given project, maybe a 1 year, 6 months, 3 year project. So you use the project management career line to be able to evaluate the project management jobs only, because there are some aspects in project management jobs that are not in the individual contributor or in the management aspect. Because within the project line, you know, the longevity of those jobs is quite short. So a lot of work being done there is more of coordination, planning, managing a budget, day-to-day milestone management, etc. So you're able to measure those within the project management career line. Then the management career line, anyone with disciplinary responsibility, with staff, responsibility over budgets of departments, the responsibility of recruitment of staff within the department, deployment of staff, promotion, leadership will be evaluated. All those jobs will be evaluated within the management career line. And as we get into the system, why do we need these 3 different career lines? It's because for each and every career line, there are different factors within GRADAR that will be used. The most common factors that will be evaluated within the 3 career lines is professional knowledge and experience, which more we are looking at qualification, experience, and job know-how. Then problem solving, which is more of the thinking, cognitive requirements of the job. That applies in all jobs from the lowest to the highest job within the organization. Then the organization knowledge. So as you apply yourself within an organization, how much do you need to know what is going on? Is it at your department level? Is it at your division level, at your organization level, global? If it's a global organization, at what level of organization knowledge do you need in terms of strategy, processes, tactics of the organization? So this cuts across the 3 career lines. Then the scope of decisions in terms of the impact of the outputs and the decisions that you make at each and every level, and also communication is one of the areas that has been neglected in the other job evaluation systems, and we've known over time that communication plays a very key role in our day-to-day work. That is what gels, and that's what moves processes within the organization. Within the individual contributor, you would be looking at people responsibility, whether you are training people, coordinating people, but they don't report to you, but you're just supporting or training or guiding them, or being in a position whereby you're providing additional information to help them. That would be the people responsibility there. Within project management, it will be more of this project responsibility. How many people are within that project? How many projects are you looking at, and how many project stakeholders are you looking at? So in project management, when you're measuring the project responsibility for people, is more of checking on the size of the project, how big is it, and how many stakeholders are within that. Within the management, we go old school. We are looking at the span of control, and within that span of control, we also measure at what level. Are you leading a group of basic skill staff, semi-skilled staff, qualified with technical or experts? We need to differentiate that so that each and every job can be given the weight that it needs. Then within the individual contributor, we look at processes and complexity, and this is also within the management, where we look at the influence of a job on the processes, how complex those processes are, what is the influence? Do you influence processes at departmental level, at organizational level, at a desk level? Then for functional responsibility is within the function, what is the responsibility for that role within that team, that group, or that discipline? For management, we look at organization responsibility. Are you leading a section? Are you leading a department, a division, a business unit within a country or other countries? And how is it spread? Is it at national level, international level, global? All those differences are checked there. Within the project management, we don't look at that. We look more of the project size and budget. So how big is the project and what is the size? This is measured in monetary terms. So the GRADAR job evaluation engine is quite versatile for you to be able to look at a job holistically and know which career line will I apply and how best will I get the different grades. At the end of the day, once you develop the different career lines, you will still get the same 25 grading structure, and this is where the different career lines meet. The individual contributors would start at grade 1 to around grade 19, where you have the senior most experts within the individual contributor role. Then project management starts at around here within the upper mid level to around grade 21, where you have the project management roles, and management spans from junior management to general management, which is the highest level within the structure, so that you don't disadvantage a person who is an expert because they would measure the same or they would score the same as top management or leadership within the organization. So those are the flexibility that GRADAR Job Evaluation Engine gives you. And I think I will move on now to the system. I know it's a lot to take for now, but I think with time, and I will be able to give you guys a link where you can sign on and get a demo version, and you get in there, evaluate a few jobs, then we are happy to guide you on the next level. Let me share the practical interface of the system. This is the system itself. The GRADAR Job Evaluation Engine. This is how it looks. I hope we're all seeing my screen.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so within this system, how do you go around this? First of all, it's available in different languages. For now, I'll be taking you through the English Kenya. And English Kenya because we've customized it for education system in around East Africa. So it helps you on that aspect. Also, the nomenclature is around how we name jobs or how we behave in different aspects. If you have a different station that maybe uses French, you can always use the system. You can turn it into French and evaluate jobs. And on your end, if you are not bilingual, you are able to see the results and relate with them. If it's Dutch, you're able to see, so it has different capabilities in terms of the languages and how best you are able to internalize the system. So the interface of the system, you have a lot of learning. The GRADAR user manual is here. This is the leveling, it's called the Rosetta leveling, job leveling and comparison tool. So what this tool does is being able to see the different jobs within your organization. If you're trying to get market data, how do you match the GRADAR job grade with all these different systems? So it gives you right matches in terms of if you're getting batches group data, if it's greater 19, what batches group grade does it give you? Or hey, what level of hey does it give you? And as you go through the system, I will be able to show you how you do the job matching. You have the user manual, then you have the TMA competency library to look at the different aspects of the competency framework in there. So just to dig into the system, I think I'll do this quite fast, but I will be able to support you. So the first thing you do is you create the job. So in creating the job, you create the job title that you need. And then if you have a code within your organization, then you're able to give it, I'll just use the name Kappa. 001 Kappa, that is the job. If you need to raise any comments, you can raise them there. So because you created organization units, this now is the organization structure. I'll just use this crazy horse as my corporate. Then there's something called the global job family. Already, this is to help you manage in terms of job design. The job family for that job, for HRBP, you can look at the different job families. And you can go straight to, for example, within HR, human resource. You go to human resource in here, then you look at the different human resource. So this HRBP is for what? Equality and diversity, HRBP, we will take that. And it gives you the description. So even if you're not sure about your job description, you already have a summary on how a HRBP should be represented, the different aspects of the job, the typical activities of that job, and you also have the similar functions. Then the job function, you will just pick the different functions that have been assigned. For now, I will not assign it because I don't want to confuse you, because job function, you create it for your own organization. Then the cluster also, you pick the ones within your organization. Is it at the lower level, the higher level, whichever level it is within the structure, you will be able to pick on it. So maybe I'll go with professional. For this one, then it gives you the description of what you expect. Then at this point, you are able to attach any job description that you need. If you need to add something else, maybe the organization structure, working condition documents, etc., you just attach them in here and you're able now to save that job. You can save as many jobs as possible. And there are two aspects now. Once you've created this job, you know where it is in terms of the structuring. Now, you can move on to grading, and there's also a different aspect of working condition. I'll tell you where it comes in. So the next thing now that you do, once you have created this job, now you move on to now evaluate the role. So you create a grading, you come in here and create a grading. And the first thing you need to do is to identify which career level will you be evaluating this job as. Is it an individual contributor, management, or project management? For example, I'll pick this HRBP as an individual contributor. And once you do that, you have now the different factors. All the factors will be here: the professional knowledge, experience, cognitive skills, people responsibility, organization knowledge, the processes, complexity of the job, functional responsibility, scope of decision, and communication. So I'll just take you through a quick grading. You can either view all these together or you're able to look at it from one view, but I'll just go through all of it so that we flow. So job evaluation deals with three things. There is the input factor, which is the experience, knowledge, etc., and the output factor, which is now the output, the decisions, the end results, the influence. Then in there is the process factors. And usually we say input factors guide the processes and the outputs expected. So for professional knowledge for this job, I'll just say maybe it requires a bachelor's. I'll just imagine it requires maybe a bachelor's and a postgraduate diploma. Then it will give you in terms of that job and the expectations of that job. Then the experience of a HRBP, let's say 5 to 8 years experience. So once you pick these two, on the rest of problem solving, the system will already guide you. For a person with a degree and 7 to 8 years experience, you expect those jobs to respond to problem solving at these 4 levels. So for the purpose of demonstration, I think you can get deeper into this when you do your own demo. I'll just pick level 7. Then people responsibility, maybe the job is more of coordinating team or training others where necessary. Let's say for training and instructing others. Organization knowledge, the knowledge expected for this job will say maybe it's knowledge of the area division, which is HR, and interdependencies within the organization. You pick that. The processes, the influence of this job on the processes, maybe it does departmental wide significance, so you pick that. Then the complexity of this job is maybe complex processes for the purpose of evaluation. Then functional responsibility for this job, maybe it does making operational technical decision affecting other work groups because you may be guiding other teams. And then the scope of those decisions, either at national level, multinational, international, or globe. Globe is more than 3-4 continents. International is 2 continents. Multinational is a block, maybe like COMESA, East Africa region, etc. And national level is just within country. Then communication, you pick the best in terms of communication, either strong communication skills, convincing demeanor and diplomatic skills, representing the organization in the national, in a certain field, etc. So I'll just say communication. Then once I do this, I've finished my grading. So you can save this draft. And once you save this draft, you are able to look at now the grade that the job got into. and you are able to see the level that it fell into. You're able to see the different scores on the different factors, etc. And this saving grading helps you to manage quality. One person can be grading, and the other person can be doing confirming the different jobs and being in a position to now confirm the different grades. Because if you are confirming the different grades, you're just going to check the levels, how the job scored on the different aspects. And once that is completed, you are able to actually edit this and finalize, because you know that job falls in there. And you get your grading results in here, and they can give you the different factor definitions. Now, what happens after this? Once you finalize the job, you've understood the grading structure, you are able now to come up here and check the grading results of that job. So I'll just check our HRBP. This is the job that we evaluated. And the grading is grade 13. Now, how do I link that to the different aspects within the system? Compensation structure. So this is the demo version. So I'm using data out of Europe for the purpose of safety. So because you've created a compensation structure within your organization, it's able to give you, based on that job grade that you've given, what is the pay level and pay band for that job in terms of the gross pay, base pay, in terms of variable pay, what will you be giving? If it's a bonus, if it's fixed variable pay, then the compensation structure, I know we struggle a lot with this. It already gives you the midpoint, the minimum, the different segments of the job in that area. The target compensation, if you have set it for your organization, you are able to see that. So once you finish grading, it has given you end-to-end abilities to develop now or move the job into the salary grading structure. And now the job matches, you're looking at, if you're doing a salary survey, that job you have picked, which job will you match it in a different job evaluation system? If you are using HEY, our job will match with job level 16 within HEY. MASA, I think that you know it around this market, you'll be looking at P4. So that you can just link your market data with the job directly, and you're able now to know where you are as an organization. In terms of market data, you are able to pick a survey. You can upload survey data in this system, and I think I'll have another session for that. And based on the survey data that you have, it's able to give you where the job is in terms of the benchmark data and where it is, whether it's in the 10th percentile, 75th percentile, or where the average job falls. Then the competency matches, we match these competencies with the TMA. TMA method is a well-established competency development tool. And now this job will give you the top competencies for that job. And all this you are able to export. You can export them here in Word format, and you are able to get, for example, in Word version, the competencies for that job. So once you finish the grading of that job, it will be looking something like this. Are you seeing my screen in Word?
Yes.
Okay, so it will be looking something like this, the job that you created, the job summary is there, the grading results is there, the competency level for that job is tactical, and the workmanship, these are the different competencies that you expect for that job. It also has a date for you, and you can always print this or file this for your day-to-day HR management, and to help you now manage that. Then there is the working condition aspects. We've not created working conditions, but by clicking creating work conditions, you are able to create different working conditions for the different places this job is. So things like psychological stress, etc. so that you know how do you pay different positions in different places. A policeman in Nairobi may be experiencing different working conditions as a policeman in Garissa, which is the northern side, which may be exposed to terrorist activities and unsafe places. So you are able to balance that and have a clear grading structure. And the working condition will help you know how you compensate. Other analysis that you can do within the system is something like internal compare ratio, checking all the jobs within your organization. I know you've seen this graph somewhere, someone brought them. Now you are able to develop the different compare ratio for the different employees. Let me tell you guys, it makes you look very smart, knowledgeable, and it makes your work very easy. Comparative analysis within the organization to know how the different jobs are being paid, the different career levels, the salary range penetration. So when you're hiring, you know where do you place a person coming in within a given grade, at what percentage. You can do employee-specific analysis to know for the different people within the system. You just put the employee ID and their salaries, and it's able to show you their salary data, the minimum increment that you can give within the year based on their performance. You just enter a percentage on what you are giving, and it will go through and give you all the data for the employee in terms of where you want to give in terms of base pay or pay rises. Then specific segment, if you want to negotiate on behalf of your employee, where you want to go in terms of the target compensation, the system is able to give you that data based on the grading and the amount. Another thing it's able to do, and most of organizations are looking at gender balancing, etc. You are able to see within the different jobs within the organization, how do you pay the male and women within the organization. If you're trying to do that, if you have pressure to know if your organization is equality is there, etc., you get all this analysis within this system. Something else, you can look at market data. We've looked at that. External compare ratio is checking within your organization versus the market survey data. Where are you? Where are you, and how best do you develop the different grades for your organization? It's quite comprehensive in that way. And you can do cross comparison for the different jobs within the different departments. For example, here you're just checking maybe a job within consulting, project manager matches with a job in engineering, which is executive lead engineer. So you are able to defend why different jobs fall in the way that they do. So there's a lot in this system. And for me, is to get to help you understand that there are different ways of doing different things. And there are simpler ways of doing what you are able to do as a professional. And you can run a lot of this on your own. Because once you evaluate one job, you know how to do it, then you can move on to keep on evaluating different jobs, analyzing the market data, being busy on that aspect, and not look at job evaluation as this difficult thing that comes across maybe every 1 to 3 years. So I think there's a lot to talk about. Nelson, I'm happy to stop there so that we have a few questions to respond at this moment.
Thank you very much.